live now. I'm a couple minutes late. I did a whole intro and everything. I spent like 10 minutes live. Live. I didn't realize that I hadn't clicked go live yet. So that's the problem. That's why I don't schedule broadcast streams, right? But anyway, I'm not going to do a super long intro here because, like I said, I just did a super duper long one, but I am just going to quickly say we have got ourselves a massive severe weather threat across several spots of the United States to watch. We've got one across portions of Appalachia, we've got one across parts of Utah, and we got one across portions of the Northwest to watch as well. We have got ourselves several severe thunderstorm watches in effect for portions of multiple states, multiple regions. We got 3 slight risks of severe weather, and it's going to be a pretty intense day here as we already have 24 severe thunderstorm warnings going out. That doesn't happen very often. Now, one of the most vital spots that we are watching right now is eastern Kentucky. We have a line of storms producing damaging winds of 70 to 75 miles per hour right now in this region. Previously produced winds of 80 to 85 miles per hour closer to the Lexington region, and now we are continuing to see this push southward across more rural eastern portions of Kentucky. But we still do have some cities in the path of this, areas like Jackson, Kentucky, West Liberty getting hit right now, Paintsville, and again, some of these storms still producing damaging winds of 70 to 75 miles per hour and some large hail as well, for sure. Now, we've got ourselves a couple of pop-up storms to watch across portions of the Ohio Valley as well that are managing to become severe. Quite a few, actually, that are managing to become severe. We've even got ourselves some that are popping off here in the Mid-Atlantic region, all right? We've had several of those today, trigger severe thunderstorm warnings. And that kind of goes out all the way down into southern portions of Appalachia here, areas like northern Georgia, northeastern Alabama getting hit with some severe storms, and also some severe storms out in the western United States. We had a big severe weather outbreak in Utah, a big one, and we've still got some pop-up storms to watch, although at this point it's mainly going to be a flash flooding threat more than anything. You can see some of those flash flood warnings and flood reports starting to spill into portions of southern Utah, and we're going to continue to see those tack on over the next couple of hours here, and we've also got a severe thunderstorm watch, a new one now in effect for portions of Oregon, Washington, and California to watch. I do think that we could definitely see some damaging winds, but especially some large hail out there today, so that'll be another spot that we have to watch as well. What's going on, everybody? Good to see everybody here in the chat. Have we heard of any deaths from Ernesto in Bermuda? I personally have not, but I imagine there are some. I haven't been looking too closely because we've been talking about severe weather a lot recently. We haven't had a lot of time to focus on Ernesto. I'm sorry I didn't have a stream out yesterday. Nothing really went too insane, and I was going to go live at one point. We had some serious damaging winds in the southern plains, but that didn't end up quite warranting a live stream, in my opinion. We would have had nothing else to talk about after that ended if I had gone live for that. But we are here today. Again, we have 25 severe thunderstorm warnings. That does not happen very often at all. You're in a severe thunderstorm watch. Yeah, that one down there in the southeast is, again, one of our more, sorry, I did not mean to put it on that, one of the more important spots that we're watching there, as again, we do think that some damaging winds of 70 to 75 miles per hour will be possible, as well as some large hail, right? So, we already have several reports of wind damage out of southern Tennessee and northwestern Georgia, and this kind of line of storms here is going to continue to push southward, all right, towards areas like Atlanta, and again, obviously, we do have some viewers out here in the southeast, kind of in South Carolina through Alabama, that are probably watching this stream right now, so we'll continue to broadcast that for you guys. Again, up to 26 severe thunderstorm warnings right now. Got a baby rain shower moving through. Yeah, and western New York today is seeing some severe thunderstorms. Again, I'm kind of surprised that so many of these have managed to become severe and warrant severe thunderstorm warnings, but they have, and they have been causing some significant power outages. We got tens of thousands of people in New York without power right now, but Kentucky and Ohio are some of the hardest hit areas, I'd say. And again, as well as Tennessee and Georgia, we kind of got that separate line of storms down there that's causing some damaging winds as well, for sure. Now, again, I'm not going to do really too much more of an intro here. I had a super long intro that I did. It was like 10 minutes, and then I didn't even start streaming whenever I did that because I'm not very good with clicking go live whenever I have a broadcast scheduled. I always forget how to do that, but we fixed it and we're here now, so yeah. Heard there are 2 deaths from Ernesto rip current in South Carolina. Is there really? That would kind of surprise me, but it's possible. I think severe storms will stay to your west. Yeah, I think that they'll mostly stay off to the west here in extreme western New York. I really doubt we see anything east of Rochester become severe. Rochester right now is under a severe thunderstorm warning, though, but for the most part, this storm should stay to the south of downtown Rochester. Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely going to be somewhat of a long stream. Whenever we have 28 severe thunderstorm warnings, we usually end up with a long stream. And I think that's kind of be what we see today. We're probably going to have multiple streams out. It's going to be, again, not super intense at any one moment, but just in general, very, very big stuff going on throughout the entire stream, right? Again, we're going to have this line in Kentucky to watch. We're going to have the line in Georgia to watch. We're going to have the line, or not really a line, but we're going to have storms out in Oregon to watch. We're going to have so many areas today that are going to have the threat for severe weather and that have been seeing severe weather. We have had hundreds of severe thunderstorm warnings so far today. It has been very intense, and this is kind of one of the most intense points we've had so far. Again, Utah got hit pretty hard earlier today with some damaging winds, especially near the Salt Lake City area, but we are going to continue to watch Utah, but again, at this point, it should just mostly be a flash flooding threat. However, I wouldn't be surprised if one or two more of these pop-up monsoonal storms here became severe. Mountains are nice out there, yeah. I like mountainous regions. I do. I like traveling through them, and I like going to them. What time should I expect possible severe storms in Abbeville, South Carolina? Or Abbeville, sorry. So Abbeville was in, like, west central South Carolina, or, like, northwestern South Carolina. Yeah, so I think that the time frame will kind of be within the next several hours. I actually do think that there is a good potential that a lot of it stays off to the west of you, though. Did not mean to have the significant tornado parameter pulled up. But if we take a look at things here, there's a good chance that a lot of it stays off to the west of you. However, if you were to see something, it would probably be from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern that would be the greatest time frame for you. Jeez, I cannot speak. But that's kind of what I would say for that region. Damaging winds and large hail. Wouldn't expect anything insane, though. Again, even the large hail threat is quite minimal down there. It's mainly going to be damaging winds that you have to worry about, but we did just see a ping-pong ball-sized hail report come out of areas south of Dalton, Georgia, with our line of storms here, so we'll see. It's 97 degrees in Spring, Texas. That's crazy. Yeah, massive heat wave right now across certain portions of the United States, but other spots are staying cool. Obviously, a lot of rain, cool air, bringing relief to some places. But for the most part, we have got some folks baking right now. If we turn on the, this is not what I wanted to turn on. I want to turn on the Climate Prediction Center outlook. The 6 to 10 day temperature outlook here, we can see massive area of above average temperatures likely across the central United States. Maybe a little bit of a below average sector here in the eastern United States, and then same thing goes for the west. But out in areas like the plains, the Midwest, the Four Corner states even, it is going to be likely baking for quite a while. Very muggy. Cape is high, like around 2,000 wind shears, all right. It is supportive in my area for severe storms. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the minimum requirements, though, I'd say, for a severe storm. Those kind of are. What is the exact wind shear here? Let's check it out. The first 6 kilometers of the atmosphere. Yeah, it's decent. Again, just barely enough to fuel some severe storms. The wind shear is actually pretty intense out here, but the main thing that would be lacking in this sort of setup would be the Cape. If we turn on the surface-based Cape here, let's see. It shouldn't be too low, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like it gets above 2,000, really, for the Abbeville area. It's gonna, again, mainly be areas off to the west of you that we do have to watch. Again, like, we have got spots in central Georgia, with 3,000, close to 4,000 joules per kilogram of Cape, even same thing for central Alabama. Even into, like, southern Tennessee, we're seeing kind of splotches of 3,000 to 4,000 Cape. And in central Oklahoma, there's a lot of Cape, but there's not really any sort of wind shear out here, so likely not going to see any sort of damaging wind, much less a tornado threat. I guess there is actually some decent wind shear out here, but things should not be too intense in central Oklahoma. probably going to have a hard time getting storms to pop up, would be the main thing. But if they do pop up, they could become quite strong. Anything happening in Carbondale, Illinois right now, you have some family there. So Carbondale should be good for the most part. I do expect things to stay off to the east of Carbondale. But, if you look to your south in Carbondale at some point this evening, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw, like, some distant lightning or something from some very, very distant storms here in extreme southern Illinois and western Kentucky. But for the most part, Carbondale is fine. I would not even expect any rain for that area, really. We did have a destructive earlier in Kentucky. Again, that storm that produced the 82-mile-per-hour wind gust that was recorded back to the east of Lexington near Winchester. So this is a live look from eastern Kentucky. Never mind. It's not going to load, so that's cool. Storm chaser Vince Welty is out there today. He is chasing the Georgia line of storms here. But we don't have any other storm chasers out, I don't think, today. Because, again, while we do have a threat over a large area, there's no one spot in particular where we're expecting to see anything insane. Tomorrow looks like an interesting severe weather setup, mid-Atlantic and the southeast or deep south. Yeah, I don't think that things should be too crazy, but we do have a slight risk right now going out for kind of a weird shaped slight risk going from extreme southeastern Pennsylvania there back into southeastern Arkansas. Just a second. There we go. Yeah, the reason that I was saying the thing about Oklahoma, I know that the storms can't pop up without Cape, and that's why I said we're going to have a hard time seeing them fire, but if they do fire, they could become severe. Whew. I'm out of breath. But yeah, very large slate risk tomorrow, going from extreme southeastern PA to extreme southeastern Arkansas. Almost 60 million people under at least a marginal risk tomorrow. And then Monday, I'm not expecting anything too intense. I wouldn't be surprised if they added like a slight risk for damaging winds in Montana. But other than that, nothing too crazy. Yeah, a slight risk in the northwest, alright? It's not totally unheard of, but this year we haven't had too many of them. A lot of them have been in, like, Montana and Idaho. But it does happen out here in Washington and Oregon. Another time frame that's severe weather, not super severe weather heavy, but we do see severe storms in this region and is actually kind of the winter. However, usually it's a little bit too cold for severe weather to pop up in most spots, so it's usually a little bit further to the south in like Northern California. But, I mean, with all the atmospheric rivers we had this winter, they got their fair share of storms, that's for sure. So, new severe thunderstorm warning now in central Alabama. That's for Chilton County and southwestern Coosa County. in central and east central Alabama there. So again, at 20 severe thunderstorm warnings right now. Yeah, California has what we would consider tornado season in the winter. We don't really have a tornado season in the winter, but California sees tornadoes. Not the most in the winter, but I mean, they're not super common, but they do happen. Yeah, we did have some F-Zeros and a couple of EF-Zeros and EF-1s out here in California this winter. I don't think we had any EF2s, though. We may have had one, I don't remember. There was one that was like a high-end EF1. I mean, Alaska is probably not really going to see any severe thunderstorm warnings anytime soon. Soon it's going to get too cold for severe weather in Alaska. It's all going to be snow. Which, by the way, I'm considering doing a winter forecast. We don't really have that much information right now, though. Like, we know it's going to be likely in a moderate to strong La Nina, or at least a weak to moderate La Nina. But that's all we know. Like, we don't really know enough about this winter to properly do a winter forecast, and that's why I say don't listen to all these people that are doing their winter forecasts in May through July. You know, they're not at all accurate. Now is the time frame where sometimes they start becoming a little bit more, you know, or we start to get a little bit more information on the kind of winter we're going to see. But, I mean, usually still at this time, it's a little early for a winter forecast. Usually you have to wait right up until the season. So if I do one, it would be in, like, the late fall time probably, but I don't know if I'm going to do one. Yeah, I really doubt we're going to see any rotation, Sam. Originally, they did have a 2% tornado risk out here in Kentucky, but they did get rid of that. It is kind of a linear threat here, so damaging winds will be kind of on the upward trend, but tornadoes not so much. Yeah, the fall time, obviously, we do get some severe weather, mostly in Dixie Alley. But really all up and down the East Coast, it's not totally uncommon for us to see severe weather during the fall. Kevin, I'm going to push my glasses up here, do a little nerd emoji. Technically, it would be an inactive season, not an unactive season. You know. This is a live look from Cherokee County Fire Station 12 in Georgia. Just outside of Atlanta. This is in Waleska. Yeah, but the plains' time to shine is, I guess, you know, fall is obviously, they do see severe weather, but it's kind of more springtime out there, obviously. Is the Tennessee and North Carolina state line area in the clear yet? No, you do have a couple more lingering severe storms out here, but for the most part, it should be done within the next hour. Well, yeah, but I mean, you could go through, any month and find an EF4 that happened in the plains, you know? And also, that was 2011. Will Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania get anything? Your stepbrother lives there. I mean, Pittsburgh right now is actually to the southwest. We have a couple of severe storms, but it looks like, for the most part, it should just be some heavy rain and some lightning. They've already had a couple of storms today. Yes, I agree. It's obvious where Pittsburgh is. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be an attack on me, but yes, I know where Pittsburgh is. What's up, Gooseman? So, new severe thunderstorm warning now in southeastern Holmes County in northeast Ohio for some 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. That includes the Walnut Creek region. Doesn't look like a super electrified storm, so you honestly may not even see too much lightning with this, but if you're to the south of Walnut Creek, obviously some very heavy rain and probably even some hail in like the Unionville Farmerstown area. By the way, there probably is a higher amount of people right now in Pennsylvania than usual. Not gonna say who, you can probably guess who, but there is a famous politician right now that is holding a rally in Pennsylvania. So, if we do have any people watching that are right now, at that event, wondering what the drive home is going to look like, west of the area where it's happening is definitely going to have the potential for some storms. But if you are to the east of Wilkes-Barre, you are going to be just fine. What's the temperature in Las Vegas right now? I don't know, let's check. Yeah, we had like 29 earlier, Gooseman. Temperature in Las Vegas is 107, which sounds absolutely brutal, but it's nothing insane for them. I will say, it feels like it's probably a little bit higher than it normally is out there. Yeah. Near Shelby, Alabama, noticing some rotation. Let's see. Yeah, it's broad. It almost looks like a microburst is trying to happen, though. And I use that term a lot, but it does kind of seem like that's maybe what's going on here. So we may see a pickup in rotation near Coppahachie, points southeastward. I don't know why I have the light off. Just now realized that. It's kind of just a bright day out today, so the windows kind of light up the room pretty well, but I should take my glasses off. They haven't been glaring too bad this stream, but I don't want them to start, so. Yeah, no, I mean, especially this far south, we're not going to see a tornado today. We'll say we may have a storm right now producing a water spout off the coast of California here. It's weak and broad rotation, but that's, water spouts don't need too much to really get going. Now, tornadic waterspouts, on the other hand, obviously they need just as much as a tornado does, but anyway. By the way, for anybody wondering about Ernesto, right now, Ernesto, again, obviously just impacted Bermuda. It is still a very impressive looking system, very clear eye. 90 mile per hour gust in Texas on a General Thunder's wild, yeah. So, again, this, obviously, Ernesto here was a little bit more impressive yesterday. If we go ahead and play the past 50 frames here, even, we can kind of see it start to take a weakening trend, but it is still a hurricane, still Category 1. But look at this, it's starting to become noticeably weaker for sure. And it's going to definitely continue that trend there as it heads north-northeastward, maybe clipping Newfoundland as a tropical storm or something, but shouldn't be anything too crazy. And it doesn't look like we're going to see another tropical system for a while. This hurricane season, in terms of number of storms, has been quite below average so far, actually. Ernesto may be the second hurricane to hit Ireland this year. I mean, it'll be super weak, though. It's just going to be remnants. It'll be incredibly weak, actually. But if we look at the GFS, it is showing a system in like late August, early September to watch. It has been a relatively slow year for the number of hurricanes. However, the strength of the systems is much higher than usual, solely because of Beryl. But yeah, we can see something. That wasn't it. We can see something. Where is it? It's like this here. In like late August, it has the GFS has this going down like a 1006 millibar low. Nothing too crazy. I heard it's supposed to make impacts to Canada. I mean, I wouldn't expect any sort of Canada impact at this point. Again, maybe it clips Newfoundland, but it's looked bad its whole life. If you're talking about Ernesto, yeah. If you mean bad and, like, strong, then yes. I'd agree with that. The East Pacific is looking quite wild. It has honestly had a pretty active start to the season here. Not really at the start of hurricane season. At this point, we're kind of in the middle of it. We're getting close to the peak, but not quite there yet. But yeah, I really don't think that we're going to see any sort of major tropical issue here within the next couple of weeks, and